Hey everyone, we are at Ironman Coeur d'Alene 2023. It is Friday. We're about to go check in. This is actually the first full I've really attempted in 5 years since Ironman Chattanooga in 2018 due to COVID, due to Ironman California getting canceled because of a bomb cyclone, due to myself getting COVID before Ironman Florida last year. And overall, I do not feel super confident about this race. I have been definitely undertrained, focusing on the business and life in general. But Coeur d'Alene is actually my hometown. This is a race I've volunteered at a ton. I've done the half before. It should be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a tough Sunday, but I'm actually excited. The weather's looking great. It's only going to be about 80 versus the 106 of past years. So with that said, we'll go check in, take a look, see what the weekend has in store. All right, doing my little bike shakeout ride. You know, Coeur d'Alene is just a really, really beautiful course. This is home for me. I have ridden on this stretch of trail for 15 years. I know this whole course basically by memory. The swim course is actually really cool because there used to be some old piers and things out there, so there's a lot of times the water's clear enough that you can actually sight off of the bottom, off of some old stuff on the bottom, which is really cool. The bike course south of town is a little more, it's a lot more climbing and rolly, and it's a little less interesting, but it comprises the majority of the course. But yeah, gonna finish this shakeout up, maybe go back to the expo, honestly just browse around. It's good to be out of the house while also trying to not do too much, but it's a really nice day. All right, it's Saturday, about 2 o'clock, on our way to bike check-in right now by myself. Man, the weather's, it's warm, it's 80, but I can't stop talking about the weather because it's such a relief. It's so comfortable out overall, feels good.
Yeah, but I like to also make this. There we go! Ironman Coeur d'Alene Pro Men, we are in the water, 6 a.m. here in Coeur d'Alene. And here we go, our pro women are in the water, your 2023 Ironman Coeur d'Alene.
You become iron today. It's always been inside you. You always were strong enough. Today's the day you get to celebrate.
Good job, good job. Have a good ride.
Woo! Hey.
Good job.
Woo!
He races out of Boulder, Colorado. He is a new dad. He is an Ironman champion and a new course record. Chris Leiferman, your 2023 Ironman Coeur d'Alene champion. Michael, you are an Ironman. 16 years old from Lake Redmond, Washington City.
All right, well, I DNF'd. I have come close before, but that is my first DNF, and it was a hell of a day. So let's talk about it. Yes, I was undertrained going into it. I knew that. I've been focused on the business. Training has not been up to snuff, but the race itself was actually pretty enjoyable until it wasn't. So the swim, I've worked a lot on my swim. I've never been a super fast swimmer. But more so than that, comfort in open water has probably been the biggest limiting factor for me. I can go to a pool and knock out 2,500 yards and feel perfectly fine. And then I get in open water and I do 1,500, and not only do I feel more tired, but I don't enjoy it as much. I don't feel comfortable. This race was the first half or full distance where I've actually really enjoyed the swim. There's honestly not even that much to report. The swimmers that I was near did a great job. I almost never got hit. I got lightly tapped a couple of times. My sighting was pretty much perfect. One of the things that I actually focused on was kind of this realization that if you can see the line of buoys, that means you're probably too far out, right? You really only want to see one, maybe two ahead of you. But the swim was uneventful. Swimming in Coeur d'Alene is really fun because there's a lot of things on the bottom that you can sight off. I actually felt more comfortable on lap 2 than lap 1. My moving pace, according to my chorus, was, I believe, 2:09. I think my total pace was a little bit higher because I swam a little extra, but I was actually really happy with the bike, or with the swim track. So transition was fine. So the Coeur d'Alene course is basically a little dog leg out and back, and then you go south of town where you get 2 real climbs, and they're not wildly steep because you're on a highway, so it's only about 5%, which we will talk about that later. But they are long climbs, so you're going to be in pretty low gears, and you're just going to be spinning up them for quite a while. I saw one person at an aid station who she had crashed. And I asked her how she was, and she was like, I'm fine. I hit something, so my day's over. But she didn't look too beat up. My nutrition was on point. I mean, I own a nutrition company now, so kind of had to hit that, right? But my nutrition was great. I ate a lot, and I just kept going. And that was the biggest thing, is I really didn't stop much at all. So let's talk about why I DNF'd. Ultimately, it's my fault, and I accept that. And I should also say, there's going to be another video where I talk more about this. And I want to be clear, for a variety of reasons. I do not blame Boyd. I'm not trying to say there's anything problematic with the wheels, but mile 108 on the bike, my hands were really tired. I have wrist issues, and I needed to be on the brakes more than I should have been because, for a variety of reasons, I wasn't comfortable going fast at that point. I just needed to get down the hill, and I was riding the brakes harder than I should have been. These are carbon clincher wheels. I do know, and I was doing the method where you don't ride the brakes, you kind of pulse them a little bit to let the wheels cool. I was running butyl tubes, which are not the super heat sensitive ones. But basically what it comes down to is 1.06 miles into this negative 5% grade, which was just over 3 minutes. I delaminated the carbon wheel, the tube exploded and blew the tire off of the wheel. And I also damaged the brake track pretty severely around the wheel. So the whole brake track along the outside of the wheel is pretty much destroyed, not just where the tire blew off. So that sucks. It really sucks. The first thing I did is, before I realized the extent of the damage, I was like, I'm 4 miles from the finish, just throw another tube in it and get back on it. And I threw another tube in, quick change, inflated it with CO2, and it instantly popped. And that's because there's carbon fragments everywhere, right? So I pretty quickly was like, okay, I can't fix this wheel, and nobody on the course can help me. It's not just, I don't just need more CO2 or more tubes. There's nothing I can do. So I just stopped and waited. And then eventually the Bike Sag motorcycle came, and he's like, look, I can give you a new wheel. We can get you back to town. And I was like, all right. So from the time that my wheel exploded to the time that I got moving again was 33 minutes, according to my bike computer. And in that time, my body just seized. I actually recorded my highest heart rate on the day after I got back on the bike. My perceived exertion levels were just through the roof. I was putting out no wattage, and I was working way too hard to do it. And I think it was just the act of stopping for 35 minutes. Just my body was like, all right, we're done. And I basically limped back into Coeur d'Alene, and I hit transition, and I wasn't really in a good mood. And I was just like, that's it, it's done. And looking back, I would love to say, like, looking back, you don't remember the pain, right? So looking back, there's a part of me that's like, man, I had a lot of time left. Like, I totally just should have kept going. And I accept that. Like I fundamentally, ultimately, it was my fault for being on the brakes too much. It was my fault for ultimately deciding to not continue on. Like I didn't get pulled off the course. I didn't like miss cutoffs. So ultimately that's on me. And I've done this sport long enough that you're gonna have days where it doesn't work. You're gonna have days where your bike crashes or your laces rip on your shoes and you can't finish. Like there's always just going to be things that happen. There's going to be another race. I'm signed up for Maple Valley. I'm going to put different wheels on this bike. It's going to be fine. And there is going to be another video where I talk more about my opinions on why this happened and what I'm going to do in the future, because the story's not over. There is more to it. I just haven't told it yet. It is an interesting experience, but my Ironman Coeur d'Alene is still on the to-do, but I'm gonna get it one day. So with that, thank you for watching. If you raced Coeur d'Alene, I hope you had a great day. It was a fun course. The volunteers, as always, are fantastic, especially at Coeur d'Alene. The volunteers are so good. The community's so good. I love that race. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. I'll see you next time.